Good evening. I am headed home from yoga tonight, and in real time, I wanted to share with you an epiphany I've had, which is a new take on some great wisdom. The wisdom is a teaching I learned many years ago, from a teacher named Gangaji. And there's a practice where, let's say you're in pain or you have some suffering going on. The practice is, they sometimes call it acceptance, and they simplify and they just say, accept what is, don't resist it. I'm actually not going to focus on what I think is sort of an overly simplistic way of putting it, right? I mean, everybody, just accept what's going on. I don't know that that is always the best advice, and that really communicates fully what I'd like to share here. I do want to emphasize, though, that when there's something going on, or there's something, I want you to look in your life for something that persistently seems to trouble you, or something in your life that persistently seems to show up and to which you tend to be a reaction to it. Something that you generally are unconscious about, but when you take a minute, you breathe, you look around at your day-to-day and your life, it's something that triggers you perhaps again and again. Look for that. That would be a great opportunity, a great circumstance in which to practice what I'm going to recommend here in this video. So my recommendation is, with whatever that is that troubles you, that as opposed to just, again, taking that kind of offhanded advice, just accept it. No, I'm actually going to say mindfully choose to not resist it, right? So don't resist that which is showing up again and again and troubling you. Don't resist it. And then I'm actually going to recommend, and again, I thank Gangaji for this teaching, I'm actually going to recommend that you pay attention to it. You actually look at it. You actually perhaps stay with it and see what happens. And a great story that Gangaji tells is the idea of, let's say you have a pain, a physical pain, and let's say you have a sore ankle. Why not? So you have a sore ankle, and it seems bothersome. It's annoying, troublesome, persistent. You can't walk on it without it causing you pain. You even sit there, perhaps laying back in your chair, and it just maybe throbs for some reason. You twisted it, whatever. So stay with the pain. Actually, just pay attention to it. And a yogi might even suggest that you breathe into the body, and you perhaps breathe your energy to that area. But I'm not even going to necessarily say that that's the practice I'd recommend for now. Just whatever it is that's persistently troubling you, just stay with it. Stay kind of with the feeling it evokes. Stay with the aggravation that seems to happen with your persistent, troubling pain. Stay with it. Attend to it. All right, so what you're going to discover, and it's almost like, I hate almost giving this away. It's such a miracle what happens when you stay with and you pay attention to pain rather than trying to resist it. I'd rather almost you discover it on your own, but that's not what this conversation's about. It's about me sharing. So I'm going to share that what's going to happen when you pay attention to something that troubles you is that it changes. Your experience of it changes, and it changes. Believe it or not, staying with grief, staying with actual physical pain, staying with that which troubles you actually changes it. And by changes it, ultimately, I'm saying it actually lessens it. It actually lessens it and dissipates it, believe it or not. It may take some practice to continue and to persist with the staying of it. But I recommend that you try that practice. Now, the epiphany I had this evening at yoga, I'm gonna do a bit of a personal share here with you. The epiphany I had this evening at yoga was really a breakthrough for me. I had never thought I could discover what I discovered tonight. I am going to personally share with you something that I don't really share with many people. I'm not one who practices or habitually complains about persistent troubles in my life, but it's a powerful share here. So I would like you to know that they call it suffering with, right? I suffer from persistent, never-ending tinnitus. Tinnitus is a ringing in the ears, like you've heard a loud noise, and that loud noise never goes. Well, the loud noise very often when you come home from, let's say, a loud rock concert, or maybe a loud explosion has happened near you, or a gunfire. After a loud noise or a loud music event, very often you have a ringing in your ears. So that ringing in your ears usually goes away if you have a healthy scenario with your hearing. Sometimes it damages your hearing permanently. Many people don't know that once your hearing is damaged, the cochlear cells and whatever gets damaged in the ear never heals. So once your hearing is damaged, it never heals. So I'm always recommending mind, body wellness and self-care, especially attend to the self-care of your hearing as you go through your life, because you can never get back that hearing which you've lost, and then of course you need all kinds of aids and technology perhaps to make up for it. But I am sharing here that I actually carry around tinnitus with me all the time. So that means even in my most silent moments of meditation, there is always a ringing in my ears. And despite all of my best practices, I have been carrying around that tinnitus for some time, for a few years now, as if it is a plague on my silence, if you will. As if I'll never get silence back, because I will always have that ringing in my ears. They don't know half the time what causes tinnitus, and there doesn't seem to be a real absolute cure out there. It's just one of those things that happens with the human body, that we've got other things to cure in our lives, from cancer and much more horrific afflictions, and so nobody's going to figure out probably in my lifetime how to cure tinnitus. So my epiphany during yoga tonight was, rather than avoiding listening or kind of dreading the experience of that, when I go to silence there's going to be the tinnitus, I actually created a practice during the yoga meditation this evening to listen and stay with the tinnitus, to stay with tinnitus as if it is the bell that I heard ring during the meditation. They often ring a bell during meditation to focus your awareness or to release you from meditation. And my experience was to attend to take this great wisdom that I practice for all other sorts of areas of my life, and bring it to the tinnitus. And I just have to say, I felt a wave and an energy come up through me. It was a breakthrough for me. Thank you for taking some time to allow me to share this with you this evening. It's a very personal, big deal, in real-time breakthrough for me that I wanted to share right away. My tinnitus is suddenly the never-ending bell that is available to me when I want to have focus on meditation. That is a real breakthrough for me, and I wanted to share that with you this evening. I also want to point to that Eckhart Tolle is another great teacher that I love and I appreciate, and he will often talk about looking and listening for the silence inside of and between all of the other words, or the silence between and inside of the notes in a song, and the silence you can always, as a practice for getting present to the now, you can look for and listen to, and then attend, at least in a flash of a moment, to the silence that is constantly available in between and behind and underneath all the noise. And again, what a miraculous breakthrough it was when I actually attended to and stayed with and paid attention to that ringing in my ears that never seems to go away. I actually had an experience of the silence, the beauty, the total connectedness, the absolute never-ending silence underneath the ringing in my ears, underneath the tinnitus. There are many tinnitus sufferers out there, and I'll do what I can to tag this video at some point. Perhaps this will be a benefit practice to them. And I also have to acknowledge there are those, many, as I've come to learn, that suffer from a tinnitus that is a louder ringing in their ears than I apparently have. And so there is a quiet to the rest of the world, yet very loud, persistent suffering for many people who deal with the ringing in their ears that leaves them consistently unsettled over long periods of time. And you know, my heart, my compassion, and my love goes out to them that actually carry this affliction around in a much heavier way than even I have to. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that this video and this message finds you in a great place tonight. I am Achievement Coach Greg Kilgore. I am the Graceful Freedom Fighter, and I'm your champion for living an empowered life, to have the lifestyle, the relationships, the love, and the purpose you desire in your life. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.